This is Texas Tech University.
Tonight on 24 Frames, we look at one of the great artists to come out of the South Plains, Paul Milosevic. We try to find out what's behind the Better Burger craze. We sit down with the iconic Mac Davis. And Terry Allen performs live from Lucas Firehouse Theater. 24 Frames starts right now.
My parents came from Croatia, like in 1920 or so, and they settled outside of Trinidad, Colorado, on a little farm. I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and we didn't have electricity on the farm, and it was pretty interesting, growing up in the 30s. No indoor bathroom and so forth, and it got pretty cold in the wintertime. But I did take some art classes there in Trinidad at the junior college with Arthur Mitchell, who was a really good illustrator from New York that had grown up there, and he grew up on a ranch outside of Trinidad, and I was lucky because I was thinking of being a dentist, and then I took his night class, and he started bringing out these fantastic paintings, and I thought, man, that's it, that's what I want to do. I studied with him a couple of years. As soon as all of us got out of high school, we took off. We went to California mainly, and I went to college out there at Long Beach State. In the daytime, I had the art classes, and at night, I was a janitor, and that went on for 5 years. And then I graduated and got this job at Odessa Junior College. So like 1 week, I was a janitor, and then the next week, I was a art teacher at Odessa Junior College. I think every town of any size, there's a certain element of people that are kind of out on the fringes and out on the edges and doing experimental stuff and kind of testing how far they can go and what they can get away with. It's an interesting thing about Lubbock in that area where, you had Waylon Jennings and Buddy Holly and Joe and Lloyd Maines, the whole Maines family. And I think that sometimes if things are kind of barren, that you have to make up your own entertainment, So I think you have to be kind of creative in a kind of bleak environment sometimes. I met the Flatlanders when I was teaching at Tech. Next to the art building was the architecture building. And at lunchtime in the architecture building on the first floor, sometimes they'd have music. And I went up to Joe when he was taking a break, and I, introduced myself, and I really enjoyed his stuff, and he reminded me of Dylan, and he just kind of laughed, He thought I was just BSing him and stuff. Then just kept following him around to the Cotton Club and fat dogs, and I'd usually have my sketch pad and I'd be sketching and stuff. So when it came time for him to do his first album for MCA, I did a charcoal portrait of him, and they used it on the cover for his first album. And then through Joe, I met Stubbs, because Joe and Jesse and them would go to the Sunday night jams at Stubbs, and so started hanging out there, and ended up taking a road trip with Stubbs from Lubbock to Nashville, and Stubbs and I made a movie.
When you're ready for steady dancing and prancing, grab your darling and hop in your car. Drive right on down to the bright side of town. You'll be happy you don't have to drive far.
He cooked barbecue out at Tom T. Hall's place, and we took barbecue over to Johnny Cash's and had a great time. And after we got back to Lubbock, Joe Ely saw this movie that we'd made, and he fell in love with it and made copies of it, luckily, because Stubbs just wore it out, playing it for everybody. He wore the film out. And Joe said that was his favorite documentary of all time. They started up the senior golf tour for golfers over 50 professionals. And they had a deal in Austin. And I went down for that, and I met a bunch of the golfers that had turned 50. And I got kind of enthused about golf, and I started playing again. I hadn't played for a long time. So I did a whole series of kind of golf course things and portraits, and I even did a series of nude women with golf course backgrounds, and did a calendar. And I had a show there in Lubbock at the Godbold Center. And then I got acquainted with Ben Crenshaw in Austin and did some things for him. And when the Ryder Cup matches came up in the late 90s, he asked me to do a painting of the whole Ryder Cup team. And I have a copy of that with it, and all the guys autographed it for me. And Terry Allen, he keeps saying that he's gonna, take me out and show me how to play golf, but he never has. The things that appeal to me in art and music is some kind of a sense of realism, I guess. The more personal an artist gets, I think the more universal they get at the same time. And that's what appeals to me in painting and in music, is this person is kind of deep within themselves and doing their own personal story and their own personal experience. At some base level, we're all alike, It's interesting how there's like certain golden periods, like Paris in the 20s, all these writers, and the beat poets in San Francisco or something. And in Lubbock, it just all came together in the 70s and 80s. I'm real lucky and thankful that I just bumped into an influential person at the right time, I think life is 80% luck. And then like 20% what you do with it. A lot of luck involved. It kind of comes full circle, So it's kind of a reaffirmation, I guess. You think you're doing something pretty good, or at least you're on this path. You don't know if it's right or wrong or what, but it just feels like it's the right path. And then the path comes around, and here you are back in Lubbock, and you're being recognized for some of the stuff you've done, and getting the award down there at the museum is really a nice thing to be able to share with my family, friends and stuff, some artists I hadn't seen for a long time. But that's, that's kind of the cherry on top of the sundae,
Got an angel of a woman with big brown eyes, friends in the country and old neckties, big cheeseburgers and good french fries, good go fishing, but the fish draw flies.
The better burger craze, I believe, is being driven by, I guess, people looking for just quality food.
I've always been passionate about burgers and hot dogs. I mean, like, we grill a lot at my house. I grew up with, grilling every weekend we'd grill at the house, but it's more so my take of playing with the hamburger and making it more than a hamburger, not just a hamburger, meat and cheese, making it something like building flavors in your mouth, telling you a story as you eat it. It's telling you like, oh, there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and at the end of the day, it all works together. It makes it a little bit extra than a hamburger.
I think a lot of the better burger craze is also being driven because the world's getting smaller. I mean, you see TV shows now where diners, drive-ins, and dives showing places that have a better burger. These guys are getting a lot more creative with their ingredients, and people want that. People want something new.
It starts with the chef. These aren't just burgers, slap some cheese on it, put some jalapenos and send it out. These aren't corporate recipes that come down off of a freezer truck. These are things he's been working on for years, literally thinking of how does this spice work with this crunch? How does this burger overall taste to your palate?
Burgers from heaven. Those burgers made love. Without you in my world, I have no place. In every burger that I eat, I see your face.
The thought process, I guess, behind going and having a chef-driven restaurant is you can go anywhere and get a burger. We want you to come here and have the best burger and the best experience every time. So with the chef's experience and chef's knowledge, we're guaranteed to give you one of the best sensational flavors you've had.
9 times out of 10, it's just me thinking about what tastes good together, and I like to build flavor. So as you eat it, you taste it separately, but then as you mixes in your mouth, it becomes one cohesive flavor, and to me, it's kind of fun. I mean, you can get rid of this, and it's going to change the flavor of the whole burger, or you can have it the way that I serve it, and it completely changes everything.
If you want something basic with just maybe a little cheese, mustard and a basic bun, and send it out, we'll do that for you, no problem. If that's what you want out of a burger, but we also have mac and cheese on top of a burger. We have what's called the flowing Samoan, which is a little bit spicier, has a little bit of crunch to it. I don't think you have to define it in this square box as what a hamburger is, because you could taste something on the menu, 5 or 6 different burgers, and taste something different across all of them and get a completely different experience. And one person's gonna like one thing, another person's gonna like another, but at least you have the option of choosing.
Well, I was making a scene at my local Burger King, and the girls were looking real good. You did a girl and how, and I said, oh wow, there's just a take for me.
My favorite burger is the spicy goat. It's a burger with chipotle sauce, goat cheese, 2 strips of bacon. It's a simple burger, but it's delicious. Our #1 selling burger here is the Western burger. It comes with pepper jack cheese, bacon, onion strings, and topped with jalapenos. That's a big mover here for us.
It's between 2. I like the Italian, one of my 2 favorites are the Italian Stallion, which is, we do a breaded mozzarella. We make our own mozzarella in-house. We bread it with oregano and basil, so it has like an Italian feel to it. And then it also gets some sweet pickled peppers and onions, which we do in-house as well. And then it gets finished with salami chips. It gives a little bit of crunch, and it makes it kind of play like an Italian sub when you're eating it. And the other one I would say is on our brunch menu. It's called the Morning After Burger. So it's our house patty, and it has a enchilada casserole that we make here as well. It's got a red sauce, a spicy red sauce with chile ancho and chile pasilla, and we make it into a sheet. and then we cut a little cube of it and we warm it up, so when you bite into it, it squishes right into your burger. And that is also served with a fried egg.
Our Italian Stallion, which is on our secret menu, is my favorite burger. It's amazing. The pickled peppers and onions is just outstanding. In recent times, our most commonly ordered burger is the Chori Queso burger, which is a chorizo burger, and then it has Chihuahua melted cheese on top. And then it's topped with pickled peppers and onions and chips.
It's a fun place to take food to a different level that you wouldn't expect it at. I mean, Burger House, you know, people expect just a burger, a good burger or whatever, and French fries. And I'm really looking to change their heads about that. I'm trying to get people to step out of their shell and order something different, you know, versus like Flow and Samoa and the morning after burger. I think this is like, I'm trying to change people in Midland. I'm from here and I'm born here, and I know a lot of people are, you know, they want the same thing they've ordered. They want the cheeseburger. I'm trying to break people out of their shells and get them to try some different stuff. And also, it's kind of a different challenge for me. I'm used to making plated, you know, entrees and plated desserts and everything. And it's kind of fun to pack it all between two buns. It's a fun challenge, so it's good.
I don't know, there's something about West Texas and Lubbock in particular that if you're going to run out of gas without a gas can or have a flat without a spare tire, well, that's where you'd want to be.
If I had to stay, I thought happiness was Lubbock, Texas, and my rearview mirror. My mom.
Music just was part of my life. I of course, was dragged to church every Sunday and found out I could carry a tune. And once my daddy found out I could carry a tune, he made me go sing in the choir. And I learned about harmony and stuff like that. But I think, you know, I got turned on to music real young. I loved listening to music, and I loved singing along with music. And my big rebellion was that I listened to rhythm and blues. I just wanted to be a songwriter, and of course I wanted to be Elvis. You know, when I was a kid, I saw Elvis perform on the back of a flatbed truck out in a car lot, and I saw girls going crazy, and you couldn't imagine it. You couldn't write this. This was something that you really had to be there. I can't describe it. And there was an electricity there, mostly between him and the girls. And but it was something I saw, and I said, "Well, I want me some of that."
I think my sense of humor has probably got me out of more problems than I can count.
I was born with a gift, and I have no other explanation for it. I could make up songs when I first learned to whistle. I don't understand it. People ask me to explain it. I've tried to explain it in songs before, and but it's the question I get asked most often. You know, how do you do that? And I don't know.
Why don't we all just get stoned? Get drunk and sing beer drinking songs.
I still, to this day, I get all excited if I get a song that's in the charts, and I want to go, you know, see that bullet and see where it moves from week to week. You know, I struggled for a lot of years. I was a late starter. I was 28 before I ever got a hit. In fact, I used to say I was 28 and gaining weight. That year that started with Memories, not 1 week went by that I didn't have a bullet in the charts. All of a sudden, people started recording my songs. And that's the way it works with songwriters. You beg and you push and you plead and you hope and you pray, and you know, you get turned down, and then one day you get a hit, and all of a sudden all those songs you were taking to them before start getting cut just because you had success with, you know, the big success with Elvis or whoever. And that's what happened. Everybody wanted a Mac Davis song all of a sudden. And I went steady on for 52 weeks. I had a bullet in the chart with either Kenny Rogers or Bobby Goldsboro or Elvis. You know, it was very exciting. I can't tell you how exciting it was.
Hey, who are you?
I'm Mac Davis. Kermit asked me to be his guest star tonight.
It's strange. If you Google me, boink, that's the first thing you find on YouTube is me singing to Miss Piggy. So all the people that we know that have kids, you know, they love me because I actually sang with Miss Piggy.
Just don't start clinging to me, girl, 'cause I can't breathe. Baby, baby, don't get hooked on me.
And it was the dumbest thing you ever saw. I'm sitting on a fish hook wearing a 1920s bathing suit, and they went in. I'm singing "Baby Don't Get Hooked on Me," so I'm sitting on a fish hook. That's how far reaching they went. And the background voices when I'm singing the chorus, "Baby Don't Get Hooked on Me," Jim Henson and 2 or 3 of the other guys took water glasses and they put water in their mouth and they gargled the background song, so it sounded like fish underwater. And the little fishies are swimming and the bubbles are going up and they're going, I can't do it, but with a mouthful of water you can. So it is a lot of fun. It was like little kids in grown-up suits working that show. It was a lot of fun.
Girl, don't let your life get tangled.
I make the joke that I still, once in a while, I'll find a little grain of sand in my teeth from standing in the wind. There is something special out here, and I don't know if it's the isolation, the flatness of it all, and the bigness of it, whatever you want to call it. It's just inspiring, drinking the water or tasting the wind, whatever it is, So everybody has their own explanation of it, but they come out of the woodwork here. They really do.
A song about a shoe. You see it all the time. I grew up seeing it. Every time you're out on the road, there's always one shoe out there, And it can be a man's shoe, it can be a woman's shoe, it can be a nice shoe, it can be a beat-up shoe, but you always know it didn't get out there for a good reason. It's called the wilderness of this world. There's an old shoe out on the highway. Art tells us of the wilderness of this world, and a no dirt floor moves under me and you. It tells us of the wilderness of this world. And the moon falls down on a highway, and that a highway crawls across the desert below, like a sad song can't stop dancing to. Art tells us of the wilderness of this world. And desert falls down to the ocean, and that motion is all we'll ever know. It just keeps on spinning, this bunch of dancing fools. They run crazy across the wilderness of this world. They run crazy across the wilderness of this world. There's an old shoe out on the highway,
Thank you.
There's a place way down in Bed-Stuy where a boy lives behind bricks. He's got an eye for girls at 18, and he turns them out like tricks. I went down to a place in Bed-Stuy, a little liquor on my lips.
This is Texas Tech University.